All right, so this time we're talking more about sequences, but our main goal today is to be able to use formulas to calculate numbers within a sequence. Okay, like what is the sixth number, stuff like that. So there's some terms we need to know. T1 and A are the same thing. They mean the first term, the first number. So in this situation, it would be 1, the first number in the list. N is how many numbers are there. So in this list, there's clearly 4 numbers, so N would be 4. Tn, which means T at n, the term at the nth position or the last position, is what's the final number? 7. And then D is a new word we haven't talked about. It's the common difference. It's slope. Okay? It's how much is the numbers increasing by every time. As I go from here to here, it's going by +2. That means the common difference, or D, would be 2. So there's 2 formulas we need to work with for basically every single question. Find the difference and find the last number. So to find the difference, it's pretty straightforward. You take the second number and you subtract the first number in order to find out how much it changed. So in this case, we do T2 is 3 minus 1, 2. Okay? A lot of this you could just do in your head, but honestly, having the formula can be really helpful in some questions we're going to see. This one is a little more complicated. And one more thing. It doesn't have to be T2, T1. It could be like T4 minus T3, as long as they're subsequent numbers. For this formula, we are saying the final number. To do the final number, you start with the first number. So in this case, it's 1. And then you need to add the difference, which we said was 2. But how many times do you add 2 to it? So even though it's the 4th number, n is 4, right? We're not going to add 2 4 times, because that would give us 9, which is too far. What we need to do is we need to do 4 minus 1. So we only need to do it 3 times. What you'll notice is if we start from the first number, +2, +2, +2, we actually do it 3 times. It's kind of like how many spaces are in between all the numbers in our list. So we need to add 2 3 times. So the formula is start with the first number and then add the difference a bunch of times, basically n minus 1 times. So those are the 2 formulas we're going to use for basically every question. First type of question is going to say how many terms are there. So I have a list of terms, but because of the dots, I don't know how many terms is fitting in that spot. So we're going to start with a formula. Tn equals a plus d n minus 1. Okay, the formula is like every single question. I'm going to sub in what I know. I know almost everything. So this is the last term is negative 21. The first term is 3. The difference I can tell just by looking. Okay, it's 4. You could also do the formula if you really wanted to. And it would give you the answer. It's negative 4, sorry. So, because it's going down every time. So 3 minus negative 1 minus 3, negative 4. And then n minus 1, I don't know what n is, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Now I can simplify a little bit. 3, this is going to be negative 4n, and this is going to be plus 4. This is going to be negative 21 minus 4n plus 7. Move 7 to the other side, so negative 28 equals negative 4n. So it's going to give me n is equal to 7. Yeah, okay. So that means that this is the 7th term. So there's 3 more terms shoved in that spot. Again, you don't have to think about it a lot. You literally write the formula, sub in what you know, and then you'll find a variable. That's how it works for almost every question. This one is a little weirder. Instead of having numbers like 1, 2, 3, we actually have like x's. X's being modified. Okay? It's still going to work the same way. Now I'm going to write the difference formula because I want to know difference. I can't just tell by looking. So difference formula is term 2 minus term 1. So in this case, 3x minus 1 minus x plus 2. Be very careful. Make sure you put it in brackets because we got to rainbow out that negative. So difference is equal to 3x minus 1 minus x minus 2. So that is 2x minus 3. That is the difference. Now we can use our second formula, the Tn formula. Okay, a plus d n minus 1. So now let's sub in the numbers. We're going to use this term, the final term. 2x plus 1 equals, a is x plus 2. That's the first term. The difference we found was 2x minus 3. And then we're going to do n minus 1 is 3 terms minus 1, so it's 2. Now let's rainbow this out. 2x plus 1 equals x plus 2. That's going to become plus 4x minus 6. Let's collect some stuff. 5x minus 4. And then move stuff together. So that's going to be 3x. That's going to be 5. And then we get x equals 5 over 3. I know that's a really weird number, but it's right. I checked it. We now found x. most questions will either tell you to find x or say like, what are these numbers? So in order to find the numbers, you literally just sub it in. So to find the first term, it's going to be 5 over 3 plus 2, which is the same as 5 over 3 plus 6 over 3, which is 11 over 3. Okay? You could then find the second one by subbing it in, same kind of idea. The important lesson was we wrote the two formulas, we subbed in what we knew, and it gave us the answer every single time. Last one is they're going to give you two terms. So the third term is 13, the sixth term is 28, and we want to find the fifth term. The easiest method is to write formulas. Okay, I'm going to use the Tn formula. So Tn equals a plus d n minus 1. Sub in the information for this. Okay, so Tn, so the third term, so we got 13 is, I don't know what a is, I don't know what d is, but I know the third term, so it's going to be 2. So it's basically 2d. Okay, that's all I can do. Now I'm going to do another formula, but for the sixth term. So 28 equals a plus d 5. Okay, I now have two equations. You should know what to do now. We're going to sub and solve. So I'm going to isolate, so a is equal to 28 minus 5d. Then I'm going to sub that in for a and solve. That's all you have to do. I'm not going to do it because you know how to do this. Eventually, you're going to find out what a and d is, and then you can use your formula, sub those numbers into the equation to find the fifth term. The slower method uses some logic. We try and find d. If we know what d is, we can find the rest of it. So normally, d is you take the second term, subtract the first term, it gives you d. But in this case, we have the third term and the sixth term. So if I do t6 minus t3, that's not going to give me d. That's going to give me more than one d. So if you think about it, if you go from third to 6, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To go from 3 to 4 would just give me difference. But to go to 6 would give me 3 times the difference. Okay? The way that you can figure that out is you say 6 minus 3 equals 3. So I'm going to get 3 times as much. So this is our formula. So now when we put the numbers in, 3d equals t6 minus t3. 3d equals, 28 minus 13. 3d equals 15. That means d is equal to 5. We just found d. So now when we do our formula, we can actually use this in this equation here. So we would say 13 equals a plus 2 times 5. So then we could find it, a is equal to 3. So both methods are right if you want to write the two equations, use substitution, or you want to use this weird formula. You just have to kind of remember how to get there. Okay? And that's it. The key thing to remember, every single question, write your two formulas. They're always going to be helpful to you. You need to know those formulas. That's it.